Doing well.
Good,
Doing
good,
well.
good. That's good to hear. First and foremost, will you introduce yourself to the listening audience?
My name is Antonio Laffey. On YouTube, I go by Unapologetically Black, 42. Uh, say the reason I go by that name for a specific reason. Um, One of the reasons is that as black men, a lot of times we have to humble who we is to make other people feel comfortable or be less than who we is.
Right, right.
So my thing is for us to be unapologetically who we is. So I call myself that for that reason.
Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. Okay, well, tell them a little more about your background and why you feel the need to launch this podcast specifically.
I think the reason why I feel the need to launch this podcast is because of my background. I feel like I am the real authentic African American story in the inner city, right?
How so?
My father was murdered when I was 8, which is a common concept, a situation created in our community, right?
Right.
I was labeled as dyslexic when I was in the first or second grade, right? There was no specialties done or nothing done to specifically deal uh, with that learning, what they considered a learning disability,
Right.
which just was a difference in learning.
Right.
Instead of cope with that, the system just washed me away. Like, oh, this person unlearnable. Let's just give them a learning. Let's just try to put them in
Put a label on
LD.
you.
If he don't want to go in, if their parents don't let him go in LD, then we let him just suffer with what he going through, and we make no accommodations. You know,
Right. And
so
that happens more often than not in our educational system.
and I realized it immediately when I went to MATC because I said I had dyslexia, and they automatically set aside certain times and things to deal with or cope with my dyslexia. So I said, they knew this in the second grade. None of this was ever done.
Right.
And so me still having a affinity to learn because my mother was so into education, right? So I persist to educate myself even though when I was incarcerated. So another reason for me this platform is because my case is a form of showing that black men don't have a right to defend their family or themselves.
Okay.
You know, so you have that, which I will further later explain. Uh, so we have the criminal system, which is basically the 13th Amendment reapplied. I've been through that system, cattle slaved, and I say that because I've been to CCA, a private prison.
Right.
So everything that America has thrown at us as black people, I've had to suffer and go through. And I had to learn from those experiences.
Okay. All right. That's an amazing story. That is an amazing story. A lot of people don't know, and very few people hear about the changes, the mental struggles, and the emotional struggles, and the educational struggles that a lot of us go through. Because a lot of times we've been made to feel ashamed to talk about them, whereas you not only have embraced them, but you've grown from them, and that is an amazing thing in and of itself. So I think that's my hats off to you.
I want to and do also add that because black men, my case is an example that black men don't have second chances. And I say that because I was released on parole March 8th, 2008. I've been revocated 3-4 times on parole. I don't have one criminal charge. I don't have a criminal arrest.
Yet you've been revocated
And
multiple times
re-incarcerated.
and reincarcerated, which actually hindered the growth of the business that the people are going to be made aware of that you it had started right after you were released from being incarcerated.
Not only hindered, it has actually caused the loss of various businesses.
Wow.
It has actually caused loss of various businesses. And it had not only have it have also, the system is created so it also has restraints on it that while you through that system that prevents your growth. Built-in mechanisms where truck driving, cargo shipping, opportunities are solely dependent on how another individual feels about you, taking your life completely out of your control.
Wow.
And they have a system that continuously allows them to extend this, right? Regardless of whether any activity you done causes any harm to the community.
Wow. Amazing. I'm certain that people is going to enjoy very much hearing more about your story and the importance of why your story is an echo of so many like stories, you know, and I think it's very important that people get a chance to be you, the man, the individual, the brother who's gone through these struggles, and despite all the obstacles thrown at you, still surmounted them, still overcame them, you know, still never backed down, never gave up. And that is amazing. And I believe that is one of the other reasons why you're doing this podcast, because it's another outgrowth of all those struggles to show that despite what you've been facing, what's been thrown at you, you're still a fighter. You're still giving it your all and then some, you know, and it's always still about the people, about helping the people. And that goes into what you do when you sell, I believe you sell laundry detergent and you sell other common household products that a lot of us people in general use, but a lot of Black people especially use because, you know, we're cleaning people. And why don't you tell the people a little bit more about that?
Yeah. For who I am and what I believe that as a people, we have to begin to provide the necessities and things that we need for our own survival as much as possible, right? So what I do is I do what is called, for as products, chemical products, I do what is called white labeling, right? I go to the main manufacturers, the same ones who make any of the main products, Tide, Gain, and I purchase the product in bulk, wholesale, sometimes using the label, which would be an extra fee. Sometimes without the label, you have to name it yourselves. And we all familiar with this because we all buy store brand products. Right. So Amazon even have its own private labeling company. They private label various products that's made off their line. They do this same thing happens with Costco's and Walmart. All have private line and brand label products, right? So, and if you go out to the West Coast and you go to the beauty supply.
A private label is the same thing as a store brand. Essentially, a retailer will find a manufacturer to make an affordable version of a branded product. The retailer has its own branding put on the blank white label, then sells it for an average of 25 to 40% less than the national brand name product, and sometimes way cheaper.
The history of private label in the US anyway is very much a perception of low price and at best acceptable quality.
Retailers eager to break from that perception develop lines with a particular focus, like Safeway's O Organics or Kroger's Comforts Baby line. Others put most of their products under store brands like Walmart's Great Value, Equate, and Sam's Choice, or Costco's Kirkland Signature. In other cases, store names double as brand.
Equivalent to, you also have 48 rolls of tissue, just $25.
My daughter want me to get her. So you
$5 line detergent, just $30. Tide Old Gang line detergent equivalent to. You also have 48 roll of tissue is $25.